Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing GTA Vice City, and in this video I'm going to show you all 40 plus of the cheats available in the game. So if you want to drive on water, fly in your car, or spawn a tank, this is the video for you. Just a fair warning, you may want to make a manual save before you start doing cheats, as they do lock you out of achievements and trophies. So you might want to have one save file where you use cheats and one save file where you don't, if you want to make progress in the game later on. Also, the controls I'll be showing on screen are for the Xbox One controller, but can be easily translated to other platforms. And if you're on PC, you may need to type a word. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you find that easier. Now, I've separated this video into a couple of different categories, the first one being weapons. Later on, we'll do like vehicles and characters and stuff like that. But for this first one, we're going to unlock weapon set 1, which is some of the more basic weapons in the game, like the pistol, the Tech 9, and the flamethrower, actually.
Get to it. Wake up.
So if the weapon set 1 cheat unlocked the light weapons, then weapon set 2 will unlock the kind of more medium weapons. And then there's also going to be a weapon set 3 code coming up, which is going to unlock the heaviest of stuff.
You nearly killed me, asshole. Where the girls gone?
And last but not least, we have the heavy weapons here, which we can input. This will get you some of the crazier stuff like the minigun.
What just crawled up your ass?
El amor es una lucha. Óyeme, ¿dónde es que queda el Bang All Hotel ese?
The next category are cheats that will affect things that kind of happen in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So here, this is how you can grab full health. Next up, we have another cheat. This is going to affect something again in the top right corner, but this time we're going to get full armor. Next up, we have one of the maybe most useless cheats, but maybe not. I'm going to call this the wasted cheat, and this is basically just an instant way to die. Next up, if you want to have some fun with your wanted level, feel free to raise it with this cheat. We then have the opposite. If you want to cool things down after doing a little bit too much in the city, feel free to lower your wanted level. We're now going to move on to another category. This is basically cheats that will affect the pedestrians or the civilians in the game. The first one here is armed pedestrians. This will basically just make the pedestrians in the area armed with a weapon. However, the weapons just won't like appear in their hands. You kind of have to wait for new pedestrians to kind of come by with weapons. We then have attacking pedestrians. If you ever wanted the civilians in the game to just always try to fight you, this is the cheat code for you. I don't really know why you'd use this. I guess it kind of just changes the game up, makes it a little interesting. But everyone's going to try to fight you, which is also kind of annoying. And then next up, we have rioting pedestrians or civilians. This one basically just makes them all want to like fight each other, and they all just start like hijacking each other's cars and fighting in the streets. It's kind of fun to just sit back, relax, and kind of watch them duke it out. Although not necessarily maybe useful to your playthrough, it does add a little bit of fun. Now this next one's actually one of the coolest ones in the game, in my opinion. It speeds up your gameplay. You'll start noticing that the clock in the top right corner is moving incredibly fast. And you can just stand there and literally like watch the sun set, the clouds move in, it becomes night and day within seconds instead of minutes. And it's just a really cool effect to see that happen kind of right in front of your face. Now from something really cool, we're going to switch to something kind of lame, and this is the one to slow down your gameplay and make everything happen at like 50% speed, maybe even lower, but it just makes everything like ultra slow, which I guess maybe if you're struggling with a certain mission or something, it could make the game easier, but yeah. We then move on to civilians while they are in their car, and this one is going to make them just be very aggressive in traffic. They're basically gonna like hit each other and go really fast, and they're never gonna stop. They're gonna drive on both sides of the road. It just makes them like really wild and sporadic. They're really, really fast. It's kind of fun to watch. The next cheat here we're going to call flaming cars. When you input it, all of the regular cars in the road will basically just explode right in front of you. But then there will also be like things like an ambulance which will come by and it'll just be flaming. And any flaming car will kind of take damage and eventually blow up, but we'll call it exploding traffic. And last but not least, if you want to change the way the traffic behaves in the game, we can make all of the traffic lights always green with this cheat, although it does cause a lot of commotion in the intersections, which actually kind of makes it harder to drive if you were to want to drive around. But if you do want every single light in the entire world to be green all the time, this is the cheat for you. We now move into the next category of cheats, which are car or vehicle related. First off, we're going to go with improved handling. After you put this in, you can basically get into any car and it has like pretty much perfect handling. You'll kind of see that this car goes up on like two wheels a little bit, but in terms of like turning at full speed, you could pretty much just barrel down the road and never have to brake. Now, this cheat maybe isn't all that useful, but maybe you're going for a certain vibe or aesthetic, and it will turn all of the cars pink. It won't change them to pink directly in front of your eyes, but if you were to hop in a car and drive around, all of kind of the new cars you come by will end up being pink, as you see on screen. Oddly enough, the pink in this game is kind of more of a purple than it was in the previous game, but if for whatever reason you want that aesthetic, there you go. Another aesthetic cheat, this one makes all of the cars black. So instead of pink, it's the same thing as the last one, but all of the cars become black. This is, if I had to pick an aesthetic, this would be my personal favorite. You'll notice that every car kind of starts looking like a undercover cop car. Now, next up, the big one, the one you know you want to try at least once. Make sure you make that save just in case if you don't want to get locked out of achievements. But we can spawn the Rhino or the tank. And once this spawns, you want to hop in. You can just basically mow through everything no matter how high your wanted level, and you'll be fully protected. Keep in mind though, if you go a little bit too crazy, you can also fire your weapon, and there is potential for the game to just literally crash. So if you don't want your game to crash, you may not want to use this too often, but hopefully your console runs it without too many issues. Now we're going to be doing a whole bunch more vehicles in terms of unique vehicles you can spawn. This is the Bloodring Banger. Not my personal favorite, but it's a cool, unique car. It has that 69 on the top. Nice. You can just kind of cruise around the streets if you want. We then have the Bloodring Racer, so it's similar to the last one, but it is a little different. This one's kind of more of a sedan style, kind of almost like a taxi cab vehicle, and has the number 41 on the top. And yeah, if you like this car, it is a unique car in the game, so you can really stick out if you don't want to drive some of the other traffic cars. Next up, we can spawn the Caddie, aka the golf cart. Not necessarily the most fantastic vehicle, but, you know, it is unique for what it is. If you want to take it off a stunt jump for fun, you can do that as well. From one unique vehicle to another, here is the Hotring Racer. It's a pretty speedy car. It's a little slippery when it turns, but that kind of makes it more fun in a way. Number 78, if you are keeping track of the numbers on these things. And yeah, just another cool car that's unique if you want to try it out, and if you don't want to do it the long way. The next clip is on a rainy day, but excuse that. This is the Hotring Racer 2, we'll call it. This one's number 35. Very similar to the last one, just obviously a different paint job. You can see that. But if you want to try a unique car without doing it the long way, this is the way to do it. You'll see we'll take this one off of a stunt jump, and we'll get some money while we do that. So it is a decent car for that purpose. Next up, from one unique vehicle to another, this is the Love Fist Limo, and you can see that it has that kind of muscle car engine sticking out the front, and obviously it's a bit of a limo. This one's maybe not the most unique in the game by any means, but it is cool enough to try at least once. Things are now getting bleak. The next cheat is for Romero's Hearse. You know what this thing is for, and it is unique, we'll give it that. It's not particularly fast or particularly cool, but it is what it is, and there is a cheat for it, so there you go. The next somewhat unique vehicle we can spawn is the Sabre Turbo. You'd think this would be one of the fastest cars in the game, but it's not really. Classic American muscle. It has a cool engine sound though. Next up, if you ever wanted to be a garbage collector, this is how you can spawn the Trashmaster garbage truck. It's a big old boy. I think it can take a lot of hits, but otherwise, I don't really know why you'd want this. Maybe there is a good reason to have it. Maybe someone in the comments down below can let me know what their purpose for having this is. Now this next cheat is probably one of the coolest ones in the game. The old Vice City had a dodo plane cheat, but that doesn't exist in the remastered definitive edition. But if you input that same cheat, you get the cars can fly cheat. And you'll notice here when I start driving, I can literally take off and fly. And I can steer myself while I'm flying left and right. So that's pretty cool. This is how you make cars fly in GTA Vice City. You gotta try this at least once. Going from the coolest cheat to maybe the second coolest cheat, this is the driving on water cheat. And after you put it in, you can get in any car and then basically just go drive over to the water and you'll become like a futuristic James Bond car. Your wheels kind of invert. I think it's a glitch. I'm not sure if that's actually on purpose with the wheels, but you'll be able to basically become a boat and just drive on the water. You don't actually have much control and you can't really go that fast, but in terms of cool factor, we're giving it a 10. Now the next series of cheats is all about changing your outfit or your character. So here is a cheat where every time you'll put it in, it'll change your outfit and you can kind of get a different character every time, but you can't aim for any kind of specific NPC from the story. Now these next series of cheats are for if you want to play as someone specific from the story. This one is for playing as Candy Suxx. Next up, ask yourself the question, do you want to play as Hilary King? If the answer is yes, then this cheat is for you, although I doubt there are very many people who want to. If you want to show your friends something different and cool, maybe that's the one for you. Next up, we have Ken Rosenberg. Very much thematically fits into the world of Vice City, so I kind of like this one for that reason. Next up, you want to play as Vance. This is the cheat for you. Now, if you want to play as a band member of the band Love Fist, this is the cheat for you. There are actually 2 Love Fist members you can play as. So if you want to play as a heavy metal rock and roller, you can do this. They have like a really weird back thing going on, and even their arm kind of works weird. So I don't know if I like this one necessarily, but it's an option. And here you can play as Love Fist member 2. Next up, ask yourself the question, do you want to play as someone who is named after a brand of car? If so, you can play as Mercedes. We can then play as Phil Cassidy as well. Can't forget that you can also play as Ricardo Diaz, if that's your thing. And last but not least, in terms of playable characters, we have Sonny Forelli. So there you go. The next category of cheats has to do with the weather. So if you want to turn a sunny day into a rainy one, here you go. Then after you've turned the sunny day into a rainy day, once you want to turn it back into a sunny day, there's a cheat for that as well. Now, if you like it sunny and you like it rainy, you can kind of go in between and make it foggy with this cheat. Now, the next option we have is for clear weather, which in a lot of ways is very similar to sunny weather. And then coming up, the next cheat is actually cloudy weather, which is also basically the same thing. I couldn't really figure out what the difference was, but I'm sure there is one. Maybe you just have to wait longer for the clouds to roll in, but thank you so much for watching the video. That is it for now. If you have anything to add in the comments down below, please let us know. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, share the video with a friend, and hopefully I see you soon. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.